This one's been bugging me for a while. The concept of freedom of expression and that kind of stuff comes with an equally important concept called tolerance. Now it's should be fairly obvious that freedom of expression comes with a high regard for tolerance. The more you believe in the freedom of expression, the freedom of to be who you want, comes with a high level of tolerance and not the other way around. The sort of conservative side of people, they they kind of don't have high tolerance, but then they don't also have a high belief in freedom of expression as well. They're a lot more restricted in that regard. But the liberals, they have a very high they have a very high expectation of their ability to express themselves in any way they deem fit, as we can sort of see in society at the moment. But they also seem to have this very high lack of tolerance, which, um, and I don't like to say this, but they can't not coexist. They have to exist in equal measures. Otherwise, historically, we have, what do we have? There's a massive list of them. We've got, I mean, communism's obviously one of them. We've also got the religious, you know, the witch trials, the Crusades, um, modern day Islam. It just gets out of control if you don't have that freedom of expression and you don't have the freedom of to to be tolerant. Then I mean, there's not one time in history where it's worked out. They have to be go if you want someone to respect your beliefs and your sometimes very specialized belief structures, you have to be able to show the same back to another person. Otherwise, you fuck the whole thing up. And it just seems to be getting worse at the moment. And really, it's not a complicated thing. It's not a new thing. It's a, it's a, it's a concept that's been around since the dawn of time. If you want to look at any civilization that goes down this path, it just ends up eating itself because you just end up with more and more extreme positions with less and less tolerance. And that evolves into deterioration of society. It evolves into, well, it evolves into a lot of things really, but high levels of death, destruction, hate, all the things we love. The concept of freedom of expression is that I can live my life in any way that I deem fit, so long as I don't harm another person physically or cause a detriment to them. But in return for that, I have to accept everybody else. And that's the tricky bit. I can't say that I want to live this specialized, very individualistic life without allowing everybody else to live their own, even if it's totally against what I believe. That's that's the rub. And if you can't do that, I don't think you're really believing in freedom of expression. You're believing in what I want, and I don't want you to have what you want. It's a very selfish, very, very childlike mentality. You see it in 3-year-old children all the time. Yeah. And now it's starting to pop up in adults, and it's not going to end well. It's not going to end with a society that we want to live in. And it's not a healthy way to live. Things like freedom, love, compassion, all these things are external things, that they're not an internal thing. You have to give it to get it. You can't demand it. You can't expect it. And it just seems like we have forgotten how to live in a society where you live your life and I live my life, and we're not going to control or dictate what another person does or doesn't do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to demand that you do what I want you to do. I'm not going to demand you call me any specific titles, or that's the old way of doing it with kings and queens and um, you know lords and ladies. That's thought we've grown past that. We live our life, we give freedom to others, and we receive freedom in return. Difficult if we demand. It just gets everyone hating you. It gets everyone's back up. They just want to fight. Um, and if you're not getting what you want, it's not our place to demand it. It's our place to find a place where we can live our life. And I think in general, most people are willing to let anyone live their life. What they're not willing to do is be told how they expect them to behave. If the person comes up to me and says, "You have to do this, this, and this," first thing I'm going to do is tell them to fuck off and probably call them everything other than what they want to say. And that's just human nature. But if I come in with compassion and freedom and let them live their life, they're going to leave you alone. They're going to live a society where we can be together and different at the same time, without control, without using slurs or anything like that to get what we want. It's very, very few times that I like to use musts and have tos and all that kind of thing. But this is one place where it's true. If you don't give freedom, you won't receive it. Um, Especially long term, especially over the period of years and decades, you'll find that society will turn against you, and you don't have to look at history to see that happen. Let people live and live your own life, and we can all be free.